ready? So we're back at 6:33. E, reconvenience to open session. F, announcement of action taken in closed session.
There are no actions taken in closed session.
Thank you. G, public hearing. Number 1, sufficiency and availability of textbooks or instructional materials for CUSD students. Written or oral comments will be heard at this time regarding the consideration of adoption as a resolution stating that the district is in compliance with the Educational Code Section 60119 pertaining to the sufficiency and availability of textbooks or instructional materials for all pupils in the Calexico Unified School District. Do we have any comments?
No comments.
Thank you. We closed
The
public hearing. H, presentations. Number 1, A4 building update.
Thank you very much, Madam President. At this time, I'd like to ask our technicians if they could put up our presentation that we prepared for our Board of Trustees and that we prepared for our community as well. I'm excited to share with you this presentation and this PowerPoint that we have up here that's available here as well, if anyone would like to get a copy of it. And to give a brief update on our A4 building, the beautiful new building that you see right off the 98 freeway as you're driving in between Encinas and Andrade. So, Alex, if we could change it to the next one, or do I do that? Oh, there we are. Wow. Okay. I like it. So, so ladies and gentlemen, as of right now, we have completed approximately 95% of the building. This includes the construction of the building, both the interior and the exterior. This includes an energy efficient HVAC system. Since the system has been turned on about a month or so ago, it's been running every day without a hitch. I've been in there multiple times, including yesterday and today again, and it's a perfect climate control. Energy efficient, watt stopper, Title 24 compliant lighting systems. The lighting systems in each one of our classrooms have the motion sensors. They have different levels of brightness. It gets, you could control how bright you want the room to be. And all of our upstairs classrooms also have skylights. So there's skylights that could be opened and closed. There's a panel that closes it if you want to not have the sunlight or the light, natural light come in, or you could open it and have natural light coming in. We have the access control and security systems. You're going to see in a little bit what that looks like. In that picture up there, right on that wall, you might see like a white spot with the black spot right underneath it. Let me see if I oops, wow, I like this. Wow, thank you guys. So if you see that right there, that's one of our security cameras that you're going to see that wraps around the entire building. And these cameras are on a swivel head where we could remotely move the angle and change the where the camera is pointing to depending on what it is that we need to look at. So I'll be sharing that with you in a little bit. Code compliant and accessible elevator. That I've got good news that the elevator passed a required inspection last week. And we already called the DSA, the Department of State of School Architecture, and we're scheduled with that final state inspection that's required for elevators. It's been scheduled, and they're going to be coming out to do the final inspection and sign us off on that. So out of our data connections, this whole entire building, of course, is with the state-of-the-art, all the connectivity, the internet, Wi-Fi, all the cabling that's required to for these classrooms to be, connected to internet and be able to use those tools in our teaching and learning process. the state-of-the-art communication systems that's meeting district standards. That's our intercoms, our fire alarms, our intruder alarms, our clocks. So any of the communication systems that we use in the district, it's already been completed. Of course, our interior and exterior architectural finishes, pretty much what the eye sees on the inside of the building, on the outside of the building, is completed. And of course, we have a fully accessible ADA compliant building. And this project also came with the solar and electric vehicle charging ready north staff parking lot. And I'll show you a picture in a little bit of our staff parking lot on the north side, right on the corner of Encinas and the 98. But everything to make this parking lot accessible or ready for solar panels and electric vehicle charging stations is already built in. The access boxes are there. So when we're ready to do that project and add charging stations or solar panel shades over the parking lot, we're ready to go. That work won't have to be done. It's already done already. So let me go through. This is a picture of our building. I'm standing here on the south side, taking the picture facing north. This is what I would call like the back side of the building. You see like an access door to the building, kind of like an emergency door. We could have access to exit the building if need be right there. The other door you see a little bit further down is like a custodial a supply room. But you can see the building and right here, oops, you see the cameras on, this would be on the south west side of the building. And if you go way to the other side, way out there, you might be able to see the same camera on that side of the building right there. So you could see some of our landscaping right there. We did intentionally put desert landscaping, which is very low maintenance, low watering. So it's good for our for our maintenance cost and energy cost. This is the front side of the building, what I would call the front side of the building. This is on the north side of the building facing the 98. Again, you see our desert landscaping. You see those black tiles. That's part of our building front. You see the shades. They don't only serve to function as a function, but also the design. Right, it's a beautiful building with the different material that's used. In this project. This is I'm standing on the west side, taking the picture kind of like southeast. This is one of our main entrance. The elevator is actually on this side, on this entrance right here. So, and it's the closest access from the school. So students coming in, through a concrete paved pathway could go in through this side of the building. And if anybody needs to use the elevator, any students with disabilities, any students with wheelchairs would have immediate access to the elevator. You could see again our camera right here, another camera, where right there that captures this side of the building as well. You see the beautiful design, that wall that acts as a windbreak and as a sunshade as well to our stairs, but also has those natural light windows or that allows some of the light to go through. Just a great design. On this one, I'm actually standing on the east side taking the picture north. This is the north entrance of the building. You can see the extended stairs going up, as we have, might have, hundreds of kids at any given time. And so just more elbow space and to move around. You see the overhang that provides that shade in that area, and then our doors on top and bottom. And then again, I'll point out right there the two swivel head cameras that are controlled remotely as we need them. Here's a view. I'm standing here on southeast side of the building, and one pretty much it just moved directions, but one oversees the baseball field. I already got dibs to bring my chair and watch our baseball games from here, like from the suite building, right, the upper deck. And then you could see another view from that same second story balcony area towards our FFA and our farm. So we're moving into the inside of the classroom, and in a little bit I'm going to talk a little bit about the flooring. But this is one of our double wide classrooms in the first floor, what we've assigned or designated for our CTE classrooms. You can see a workbench right there, some counter space. These CTE classrooms, they have 32 of these double door cabinets. Right here, what you're seeing is one set of them on one end of the classroom. Kind of behind me, where I'm standing right now, there's another set on the opposite end of the classroom. So there's a total of 32 double door cabinets right there, and it has a total of 4 closet, 8-foot closet cabinets, like the ones you see right here. Like I said, this setup, you sit on the opposite side of the room as well. All of our classrooms in this entire building either comes with 1, 2, or 3 sinks with water, which we'll be able to show some more up close. And so this lighting, like I shared a little while ago, it has like 8 levels of light intensity, if you will. You could dim the lights or make it brighter. And then you could see that we also have natural light coming in through the windows. This is all of our classrooms as well. The CT classrooms downstairs have the 32 double door cabinets, both levels on the top and the bottom, and then the 4 8-foot closet cabinets. And they also have shelving space. The shelving space are a little bit different. You know, this one, you'll see some different ones. This one has like these open shelving space. You could use, books, folders, or instructional supplies that have easy access to retrieve right from there without having to be put away behind a cabinet or whatnot. I do also want to get your attention. You'll see some close-ups right now to these things up here that you say, what are those, right? I'll show you an up-close and personal one right now. But these right here are actually electrical posts. And what you do is when you need them, you bring them down and you use them. They lock in place, and you use them to connect to machines or computers or anything that you might be using in these CTE classrooms. And when you don't need them, you wheel them back up, and out of sight, out of minds. One of the more of the old-fashioned ways of doing this is that you would see these posts that come from the ceiling down to the ground, right? And they're fixed. You can't move them. And you would see somewhere like in the middle of the post or at the lower bottom of the post, you see the electrical outlets. And those work well. They work great, but they kind of restrain a little bit of your movements and where you could put the furniture and how you could arrange your desk and your chairs. And if you want to do something special, you kind of have to work around those. With these, with this technology right here, you could move them out of the way, and like I said, out of sight, out of mind, and bring them down when you need them. This is actually one of our upstairs classrooms right now that we've designated as an art classroom. So these classrooms, you can see, have this is a single classroom. It's upstairs. They're not double wide. They're single. You could see the whiteboards up here. You would say, well, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, but these whiteboards are actually sliding whiteboards. So this whiteboard where the arrow is right here, you could slide it to the other side and it exposes another whiteboard. So you'd have for additional 5 boards, and then this tag board type of walls that could be used to display different artwork or different materials. These rooms come with sinks. I'll show you another picture it's a better picture. It has three sinks that are deeper down, and then a sink that's ADA accessible for a student who might be on a wheelchair, or someone with a disability could need to have easier access to this type of a sink. And then right behind the sinks, you also have a backsplash of tile work, because you're working with water and maybe cleaning out paintbrushes or other type of materials, and inevitably the water gets on the walls. And with this design right here, we are able to protect the walls from water damage, and as it goes right onto the tile. These are some more of the shelving units. Like I said, the other one was the one that went across the wall. These units right here, you can see some of our open units on the left side. On the right side, you have more shelving units that are behind glass doors. One of the unique features or design features that came with this building that we didn't get in A2 and A3 was this tile work, this extended size tile work that's on the walls of the corridors. And it looks beautiful. If you are able, when we're all going to be able to see it in the near future in person, and when the floor is finally done, which we'll talk about in a little bit, it's just really going to pop. And as you have hundreds and over the years thousands of students go up and down a hallway like that, the walls get smudged. They get kind of like nicks and marked up and whatnot, and this will also protect the walls. Not only does it look really nice, the design, but it also has a good function. You see our restrooms right here. The restrooms are fully complete already. That black tile that you see right there, it's actually a black glass tile. So when you see that glass tile, it just really pops, and the contrast with the colors. Just a really nice job with that tile work. These are that feature that I was showing you a little bit earlier. Those are the power cords that come down. We have in our CTE classrooms anywhere from 3, 6, and 7, and I believe in 3 of our CTE classrooms that have been identified as classrooms where we would need additional power cords or additional power boxes than the ones that you would normally just have on the wall. So this is a closer look to what I showed a little while ago. These are the cameras. Cameras are on the exterior and interior of the building. So the one that you see right there in the middle is inside the corridor. So we have up and down the corridor, there's, I believe, 3 cameras. And as you saw in the other pictures, there's cameras that wrap around the building. And as I shared a little while ago, this project also came with the parking lot, the staff parking lot on the north side. These are current pictures of that parking lot. It's already being used. This parking lot was actually used, I believe, almost from the start of the school year, or very close to the start of the school year. And like I said, this parking lot is already ready to the infrastructure is there for when we're ready to move forward with solar panels and electric vehicle charging stations. So I as you saw the pictures, you probably saw that the floor was still in concrete, and the flooring design wasn't in yet. So we ran into an issue with the flooring, where the flooring wasn't passing the test. There's a very specific test that it has to pass, and while the floor was providing some being stick to the glue, it wasn't as strong as we wanted it to be and as strong as we needed it to be. So as what were called as the owners, right? We could have very easily said, you know what, it's good enough. We saw the test. It wasn't that easy to pull this flooring off. Go ahead and move forward and put the flooring in anyways, right? It's good enough for us. But good enough is not good enough, right? And we couldn't feel comfortable bringing to our school board and bringing to our community a recommendation or a decision that we said, well, it never really passed the test, but it was good enough. We saw it, and it wasn't that easy to pull it off. Nevertheless, they were able to pull it off. And we said, no, we got to do this the right way. And just like we talked about with the greenhouse, we're not going to sacrifice quality and doing things right because we want to get things done faster. We want to get it done now. We want to get it done as fast as possible, but not at the sacrifice of quality. So the manufacturers actually came out to Calexico, came out to our building, and they were here themselves running tests and getting samples to the point of where they even took a sample out to the East Coast where a lab ran the test out there. So what was it? Was it just too hot? Was it the temperature? Was it the glue? Was it the material? What was it that that was making the flooring not pass? I'm optimistically, but I'm cautiously optimistic because I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. But we believe we know now what the problem is, and that confirmation is going to come to us by this Tuesday. And everyone involved is very optimistic that it will be confirmed. We will have gotten the material and the glue right on it, and everyone's ready to go. As soon as we get the thumbs up that this passed the test, we're going to be able to start on Wednesday, as fast as Wednesday. So everyone is just ready to go on this. But this right here is the flooring design. So it's a custom flooring. It's a high quality flooring material. You see samples of it back here. It's a rubberized material. These are the actual colors, and that's the actual design right here. So it's a high traffic flooring for a district that's going to be used with a lot of foot traffic. You see the curves and the waves. You see how the yellow and the different gray scales interact with each other, or the gold and the different gray scales interact with each other. That's how, when you walk into the building, that's how the design of the flooring is going to be. And at one point, we were even thinking, well, we could switch this flooring, not utilize this flooring, and go with the inferior floor to this, right? But again, we don't want to sacrifice quality and do the best job we can and get the best product and the best building we can for our students and our staff and our community, because we want to finish it, a few weeks or a month or two faster. So we said, no, let's do this right. And I'm feeling very, very optimistic with sharing tonight that we strongly believe that this is going to work, and we're going to go ahead and get the thumbs up by Tuesday of this week. So what's next? So essentially, when I say we're about 95% done with the building, really it's the flooring. That's really the only thing that's next. And then after the flooring, one of the things is the final punch list, and the punch list is when the contractors and our owners' representatives, our project managers, our architect and engineer, and ourselves, we walk through the building and we see if we pick up anything doesn't look right. Maybe there's a smudge on the wall that needs to be, spot painted. We turn on the sink, and if the water doesn't turn on, we're just checking the whole entire building with our project manager, with our engineer and architect, ourselves, and we're seeing if there's anything that's not working or doesn't look right or wasn't connected or is a little bit loose or whatnot. and we're calling that out. Now, all this work is obviously under warranty, but the punch list is anything that we see and that we were able to at that moment in time, right? And that's what we call the final punch list. Today, I was in there today with our project manager, and the contractors were in there today doing their punch list, getting it ready for us, right? Getting it ready for when we go in there. They already did anything that they saw. And then the next step is us to go in there and see if anything that stands out to us. And then they'll make those repairs or those fixes or those whatever, address that issue. And then we'll take it from there, right? And then we still feel very, very confident. One of the things that if there's I know we ran into this issue with the flooring, but we always gave a deadline or a timeline of moving in to the building on for the start of the second semester. So we never gave a timeline that we're going to move in. The classrooms are going to be moving in September or in August or September or October or any of that. So we're still projecting to be able to do that. We're still expecting that we're going to move in at the start of the next semester, and we're expecting and preparing to start doing that within the next few weeks or a month or two. So I put this picture up here because, you might say, well, why is this picture here? Or, you misplaced this picture, or there's a picture from a different PowerPoint. But I wanted to put this picture up here because this is what was there no more than a little over a year ago or so. This is everything you just saw right now started here with the patch of dirt. And so a lot has been accomplished. A lot has been done. I think it's going to be an absolute beautiful building by the time it's all gets said and done. And this is what we had before, and you just saw right now what we're getting now. And last but not least, I thank you. And there's another picture because everything's intentional, everything's deliberate. Again, you might say, well, this is elementary school. That was at the high school. Why are you putting a picture of the elementary school in a high school presentation? But I put this up here intentionally because what we're doing right now is going to be there for decades. What we're doing right now is going to have an impact on our community, on our students for the next 50, 75, 100 years. This building is going to withstand the test of time. And these kids who are at Jefferson Elementary School, third grade or second grade or something, are going to go and utilize the buildings and the projects and the work that we're doing now. And kids of later generations, or current kindergartners, or babies who are being born in Calexico right now, are one day going to use this building right here. So that's why this picture is up here, to show that the work we're doing has got to be done right, and we got to get it right, because we owe it to our staff, to our students, and our community to do things the right way. So that concludes this update. Any
Thank you, Mr.
questions?
Jimenez.
No? Okay.
Budget, are you gonna go over that later on?
Right, we are going to go over that later on. This is not Measure Q, by the way. So I know a lot of people confuse it and think this is our Measure Q building. This is not Measure Q. This was district leveraged ESSER funds and other funds that we utilized to pay for this building. So we will very definitely do that, Mr. Pacheco. Good question.
I do have one question.
Mm-hmm.
About the cameras, the coverage, and where are the monitors?
So the monitors are online, and so people who have access, as I do, and other people who I will not name, have access. So anywhere in the world that we have internet access, we have access to the monitors, to the cameras.
And the actual completion date? Do we
The-
have one yet, or it's gonna be after Wednesday once the flooring comes in?
After Tuesday.
All right.
After Tuesday, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. We're gonna go ahead and move to number 2, Community Schools Implementation Grant Presentation.
Thank you, Madam President. So as we shared with the board in previous, I think last year, we're very, very excited that Calexico Unified, we applied for and received a $5.2 million grant for community schools, for Dual Elementary, for Rockwood, for Mains, and for Willie Moreno, for the 4 schools. And I would like to acknowledge our principals, Ms. Nena Noriega, Ms. Fuller, Ms. Luisa Fuller, Mr. Lopez, and Ms. Isaura Padillo, who are here tonight to be part of this presentation or view this presentation. These are our 4 principals who worked very diligently with our Director of Community Schools, Ms. Alex Limon, to write the grant. And one of the things I do need to say about this grant process was that the state changed the grant process in the midstream on us. First, there was apply for a planning grant, and you have to apply for the planning grant first, and then you have to wait 2 years, plan for 2 years, and then apply for the implementation grant, right? So that's what we did. We applied for the planning grant, and then after we applied for the planning grant and we received the planning grant, which was I think about $200,000 for the planning grant, the state said, you know what, never mind. Schools no longer have to apply for the planning grant. They could go straight to the implementation grant. And so a lot of schools and school districts throughout the state said, well, we're just going to go straight for the implementation grant, right? The money is there. So while we were in this timeline of a 2-year process, Ms. Limon and our principals put it together in an incredible timeline so that we could apply within that deadline to submit the next a wave of grants, so we could make that deadline working. And it wasn't super clean. It was a little bit, chaotic a little bit, right? We're calling our union partners and CSEA and ACT and sending them our plans and getting their input and getting input from parents. But we put a really good grant together in a shorter period of time. We definitely didn't have 2 years to put it together. And so when we were awarded the max award of the $5.2 million, we were very, very excited. At this point, I'd like to ask Ms. Limon to provide some more information on our community grants program. 5.7. I like to under-promise and over-deliver. So, where's the other 500,000? That's why I said I like to under-promise and over-deliver, right?
And over-deliver.
If I would have said 5.7 and it was 5.2, I wouldn't.
Oh,
And this is a requirement of the grant. We do need to present, have a presentation to our board of trustees and our community with the process of and the progress of our grant.
good evening, Madam Board President and board members. I am excited to present our Community Schools Implementation Grant. As Mr. Jimenez said, it was definitely a labor of love and definitely one of my passion projects. And we finished this within 4 months. So it was a lot of work. We surveyed about 600 students, and we surveyed their parents and the staff as well. And so now it's time to present where we're at. So welcome to my presentation. So what is community schools? The reason that I put this up is because in our county, community schools are associated with alternative schools. And so we are not alternative schools. We are an initiative, which means that we are serving pre-K through 12th grade students, and we're looking at a whole child approach. We focus on academics, on health, social services, youth and community development. That enables us to collaborate. So we collaborate with our staff, with our students, with our parents, and the community members. And we address unique needs, assets, and goals for each school site. So it's not based on the district as a whole. It's based on the community surrounding each individual school site. And so then we look at the whole child approach, and what we would like to foster is a strong student, a strong child. And a strong child comes with a strong family unit. So in order to look at the strong family unit, I don't know, this is the first time I use this one. So right here in the middle, we're looking at the student's basic needs. And then if you look at the maroon area, those are the learning and the other services. And then around are the services that we provide or that they need as well. And around the entire circle is the community. And so embracing everything and putting all those services together helps form a strong family unit, therefore a strong student ready to learn and thrive. And so that being said, I'm going to show you just a quick little video on community schools. Let's start.
What makes a school a great school? Caring for the whole child. Expanding the horizons of learning. Building relationships with families. Working together to realize a shared vision. This is the school every student needs. This is a community school. Community schools are public schools that partner with stakeholders to create the conditions students need to thrive. Community schools can be found across the United States, and their numbers are growing fast. But what exactly makes a school a community school? They integrate student supports. Clinics, counselors, and other services ensure each and every student is ready to learn. They expand and enrich learning. Extended school days, summer programs, and real-world experiences help students reach their full potential. They engage families and communities. Partnering with residents to identify and meet community needs makes everyone feel safe, welcome, and involved in school. They lead in collaboration. Inclusive decision-making and peer learning builds trust among students, educators, families, and communities. When a school stands on these 4 pillars, it's a community school. Research supports this 4-pillar approach, but there's no one-size-fits-all model. Every community school is different because each community is different. Figuring out what it looks like in your community starts by getting actual community members involved. That's the full-time job of community school coordinators. They're the human bridge connecting all the partners and stakeholders that make community schools possible. So that's what makes a school a community school. Now, how do you pay for it? Startup costs like hiring a full-time coordinator can be raised from foundations or state and local governments. Tapping into existing funding and partnering with local businesses can bring in service providers. Sharing resources and staff with partners can help everyone do more. And as a community school becomes more established, leaders can advocate for budgets that sustain their impact and new funding to expand it. Every community school is different. What will yours be like? Get started at communityschools.futureforlearning.org.
So you might be asking, who are our community partners? And so right now, Rockwood is working with San Diego State. Dual is working with the Calexico Library. Maines is working with the Calexico Wellness Center. And then Willie Moreno, F&R Air Conditioning. And so we each have a community partner. Those are just 4. We have other partners, but those are the partners that we're working with in our committees, okay? And so you saw the video, and you might be thinking, okay, well, where are we at with all of this? And that's where I'm going to show you. So we have an established vision here, specifically for our community schools. And it's, the first one is to provide an equitable and enriching student learning opportunity, to support our students in a well-rounded educational experience, to strengthen our relationships with our educational partners, and engage in conversations and collaborate, again, with all of our partners and students, staff, and parents. and then also addressing barriers that create challenges for our students and our families. And so we follow a framework. And with those frameworks, we start with the 4 pillars that were mentioned. And then we look at the cornerstone commitments, which focuses on being assets. Can you hear me? Okay. I know I have to maneuver this thing here. Assets driven, restorative climate, powerful and culturally proficient instruction, and shared decision making. And then you have the key conditions of learning, which are supportive environments, motivation and self-directed learning, social and emotional learning, and systems of support. And lastly, proven practices is having a coordinator in place, assets mapping, which is what we did when we looked at all the resources that we have, and also a needs assessment, which we did with the 600 students, surveying the parents and the staff, working together with our bargaining units. And so all of that came together to formulate our implementation plans. Now, California has made this nice little infograph where they have the why, the how, and the what. And so when they were talking about the 4 pillars, that is the what. That is how we're going to get the job done. So these were the 4 pillars that they were talking about. And what we have done here is we have examples now of what we have in our district. So for example, integrated supports, we have the Family Resource Center. That's just one example. For extended times and opportunities, we have a robust Sparks program, an after-school program that is now being recognized in many different areas. In fact, for community schools, they presented to the state and to the region. And so we do have a recognized after-school program. So right now, that's our strongest pillar, but we're working in the other pillars as well. For family and community engagement, again, we have our cafecitos, we have our LCAP meetings, we have our parent nights. So these are just examples of what we're doing. And then for collaborative leadership, we have committees that we meet, and I'll show you some more pictures about when our committees have been meeting. But here are examples of what is already in place here in our district. And this is just the district. What we did September 27th is we had our Community Schools Implementation Grant launch meeting. And so these are the actual site committees working together, looking at each one of the pillars and coming up with what is exactly happening at their specific school site in each one of those pillars, what the services are, what the needs are, and what pillar is the weakest and what we should focus on. So now we go into the how, and the how is the capacity building strategies. California started with 9 capacity building strategies, and then at the end of the year, after we wrote the plans, they decided, no, you know what, we're not going to do 9, we're going to collapse them into 5. And so now the focus is on shared commitment, understanding and priorities, centering community-based learning, collaborative leadership, sustaining staff and resources, and strategic community partnerships. So those are the 5 areas that we're writing all of our goals under. This circle that you see here, that's another circle provided by California, and that's looking again at the supports, the who, the how, the why, and the what. But again, it's how we're going to work with all 4 pillars and the culture of belonging. Using those 5 strategies, then we go over to how we're going to accomplish our goals. But before we do that, we have to do a pre and a post assessment. And so what California would like us to look at is, you know, in each strategy, do we rate ourselves as visioning, which is dreaming, engaging, which is building, or transforming, that it's already in place? And so we have to do a pre-assessment and a post-assessment, rating ourselves as school sites and then as a district. And we did this last year, and we have to do it again this year. So that's what the tool looks like. Additionally, we have to look at all of our data. So there's different types of data that we look at. We look at our LCAP plan. We look at our state scores, our CASP, well, the CASP, the LCAP. That's what I'm, the LCAP. We look at discipline. We look at attendance rates. So when we were meeting with our committees, and you'll see this right here, when we were meeting with our committees, all 4 principals were working with them and showing them the data and showing them where we are starting off this year. And so you can see the work that they were doing. They were collaborating, they were putting it on posters, and they were presenting what their site looks like. So you might ask, well, who's on the committee? We have the principal, general ed teachers, bargaining unit, special ed teachers, non-classroom staff, which would be classified staff. We have we don't have the coordinators yet, but I am representing community schools. You have the psychologist, behavioral specialist, or counselor, and you have parents and students. We were the first district to take parents over to the county to represent our districts. So our parents actually go with us so that they're also having their voice at the county level as well. And so now other districts are taking their parents. That being said, it's a collaborative effort, and we all group together and we all make a unified decision. So you might ask, okay, well, how does this look in Calexico? Well, we have the board, we have our superintendent, and your support, thank you very much. And then you have me, the director of community schools, focusing on the work and organizing and working with everyone. We have the community schools district leadership team, and this is what you saw right now, the groups that were working together. Then you have your site principals, and they work individually with their committees, and then eventually we'll have community school site staff. We'll have community schools coordinators at each site, or specialists, depending. We're still working on that. So you're going to see a job description coming soon regarding that particular position, okay? Again, the principals, and here you have the 4 sites represented, they also work with their leadership team, their school site council, the community school site council, and the English Learners Advisory Council, all together to look at all of the plans and make sure that their goals are all aligning. So we have to align all of our goals with the LCAP. We have to align all of our goals with the the SPSA, thank you, and with the community schools implementation plan. So when we're writing our goals, what we're doing is we're dreaming them. The first time they're in our mind, the second time that we've written them, we want to put them into practice. So we're putting them out in the real world. But here's the deal. So a big part of what we're looking at is called moonshot thinking. And this is a new concept. It's called moonshot thinking. So John F. Kennedy, his big moonshot was that he wanted to put a man on the moon. Community schools wants to create the environment for students to be able to do this moonshot thinking. What is moonshot thinking? Well, it's a human who created AI. It's a human who created electrical cars. It's a human who created robots. Those are our students. And so community schools create this environment that's positive, that's healthy, that's supportive and creative, because we don't know what they're going to create. That's the moonshot. And we want to be able to establish our community schools within our community to have the healthy community and healthy families, so that who knows what they're going to create next. You know, if they're going to be creating the city up in the moon, that's the kids' moonshot. That's our students' moonshot. And so that's one of the biggest ideas that we took away from our meetings, that we've taken away from our community summits, from our committees, that's what we're focusing and fostering. So last year, we finished our implementation plans. I'm not going to review the implementation, they're long. But you have copies in front of you. There's a binder there with the implementation plans. We do have to put the implementations up on our website. And again, we just revised them from 9 strategies down to the 5 strategies. You have copies of those in front of you as well. This is what the 5 strategies look like. So each one of the sites have already provided me with copies of their revised strategies. And again, I'm not going to read all of them because it's very lengthy. But you might ask also, how are you going to do this? Well, this is how we're going to do this. We just received the GANS letter allowing us to start accessing the $5,700,000. This is to be spread out through 5 years. So what you're actually looking at is year one, it's $1,200,000 per year. Each site gets approximately about $300,000. Okay. And so we had to submit a budget for all 5 years. It wasn't just 1 year. We had to submit a budget for all 5 years. This year, this is year one. This is what we would like to accomplish for year one. Part of my salary is on that budget. The other part is in the LCAP because I also do other things aside from community schools. And then we're looking at staffing. That's for community school site specialists. And so they'll be running parent centers. Parent centers are like mini family resource centers at the sites. And so you have there the different services that will be at the parent centers, like uniforms. All of our schools now have washers and dryers, food banks, different wraparound services like behavioral health if they need that. Social services, WIC, it depends on what they might need, right? Substitutes, because we also have professional development. So we'll be focusing on social and emotional learning, trauma-informed pedagogy, restorative justice, Kid Grit, and PBIS. Those are just some of the areas that the sites have asked for support with. Collaborative assessments, telehealth services. So we are looking at Hazel Health. Our classified staff was very happy to hear that. So that the students can have access to mental health supports and also health first aid, you know, there at the school site. So, for example, our health technicians will be having like a closet, and it's not a closet, a cabinet of medicines that a doctor can prescribe right then and there. They'll have a telehealth appointment with the parent and a doctor and have a prescription for Tylenol or Motrin, very basic, you know, very basic prescriptions, and our students will not have to leave campus if it's minor, okay, if it's something minor. So that's just an example. We're still exploring that. We're also going to have extra duty pay for homework centers in the morning and some support after school, aside from Sparks. Those Sparks is, again, one of our main components and the after school program. But that's tutoring in the morning. Childcare, that's not childcare for everybody. That's childcare when we have parent events, okay? When we have parent events, trainings, and so forth and so on. We also have materials and office supplies, college and career field trips for our students, and then also the Parent Summit. So last year was the first time that we had the annual Parent Summit. It went very well recognized. At this community summit, we will be presenting on that. We've been asked to be part of a panel on our parent engagement strategies. So that's something that we will be presenting on as well. And then next steps. So as you can see, we have a picture that says community. Again, it's community outreach, educating our staff and our parents about what a community school is. I know that Main School already started with this. They presented to their parents during back to school night, so that was addressed. And then we're looking for student ambassadors. They will also be helping us listen to student voice. So they will be our student voice and helping us out. So that's next. And then creating a newsletter. So we let everybody know what our progress is. And then lastly, on June 30th, we have to submit our report. And hopefully by then, I'm able to present to you all of the accomplishments that we had this year. So like I said, it's very exciting. Lots of funds, lots of collaboration, and working together as a team. The principals have done an awesome job working together with their teams. So that's it. Thank you very much. Any questions?
No, just want to say thank you for that presentation and congratulations to the sites that received this award, and looking forward to what you're going to put out there in the near future. Thank you.
I do have one request.
Yes.
And just for the public to know who these individuals are, can you stand up if you had anything to do with this grant? I know Mr. Lopez is here.
We have Silvano Lopez from Dual School,
Yeah.
Isaura Badillo from Willie Moreno Junior High. We have Berta Noriega, principal of Main School, and Luisa Fuller, principal of Rockwood Elementary School. And again, they have been working, since last year. It was rushed, and they got their communities out there. They have their parents, very strong groups. They have their teachers out there. And then we also worked very closely with the classified and ACT teachers union. So I have individual meetings with them to get their input as well. We've already started discussing with them when we're going to start holding meetings and going over what other needs they would like to be addressed in regards to professional development.
Once again, thank you for your dedication and hard work. Without you, I don't think we would have been able to accomplish this. And ultimately, this is money for our kids. And hopefully we can moonshot these kids. Yeah. So that's all I have.
It's great,
Thank you.
huh? Moonshot.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Ms. Limon.
Thank you, Alex.
So I, comments from the public. Do we have any comments? No, no comments. J, consent agenda. Items appearing will be acted upon one motion without discussion unless any item is pulled for separate consideration and action.
Move for approval. Second.
Motion by Mr. Contreras, second by Mr. Alvarado. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And K, information items. Number 1, superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam President. I have two quick announcements and recognitions today. Our first one, as you see on our slide up there, is we're celebrating the National Hispanic Heritage Month this month. In honor of National Hispanic Heritage Month, we honor the rich cultural heritage, history, and tremendous contributions of Hispanics in this great country of ours. Their influence spans every sector, from education and the arts to science and public service, shaping the vibrant and diverse fabric of our great country, United States of America. So thank you to all of our members of our Hispanic community for the remarkable impact they have on our country. My second part is today, Ms. Araceli Alonso, our incredible director of food services. We're celebrating National Farmers Day, and right on the corner of Rockwood and the 98, she created this incredible poster that says Happy National Farmers Day, Feliz Día Nacional de Agricultor. We recognize the hard work, dedication, and resilience of farmers who sustain our communities and fuel our nation. Their tireless efforts ensure a steady food supply, support the economy, and preserve our land for future generations. We honor and appreciate their invaluable role in our society. And I know here in Imperial Valley, we're a humongous farming community. That's I believe our number one industry is farming. So to all of our farmers and our farm workers and our farming families out there, thank you for doing the work that you do and helping putting the food on our tables and in our restaurants and in our grocery stores and throughout the world. So thank you to our farmers on this Farmers Day today. Madam President, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Jimenez. Number 2, ROP committee.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight. Yesterday, we had the IVROP mobile lab at Dual School, where they shared their information with our kids. And just to inform all the other principals, they're open to come and visit you whenever you need them. So again, just call them, and they'll make it happen. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Number 3, board reports. These are informational reports by board members. No action is taken. Mr. Alvarado?
Well, thank you this evening for joining us. I don't really have much to say. Just thanks to our staff. Thanks for the wonderful presentation. Congratulations once again. Thanks, Ms. Alonso, for the wonderful meal that we had. Always outdoing herself. Other than that, I'll reserve my comments for coming up on L for campus security.
Thank you. Mr. Calderon?
Again, good evening for joining us. Thank you again, principals, ACT, CSCA, and whoever had any part with this grant. Without you, we wouldn't have been able to receive it. And again, ultimately, this is all for our kids. And thank you again. And Ms. Alonso, thank you for doing a great job also. Thanks. That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Pacheco?
No, nothing, everything, big project ahead of us with Ms. Limon. We'll target it, June. Hopefully we'll have great success. Welcome. That's all I have.
Mr. Contreras?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to Ms. Limon and the team. You know, I know that, you know, looking for funding sometimes is not an easy thing, but obtaining $5.7 million is something substantial over the next 5 years, you know. So I think that you do it with thinking of the kids, you know, and the changes and stuff that we realistically need for them in the near future, and I really appreciate that. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, go ahead, Ms. Limon.
I know that, you know, you guys make the foundation of the group, and I know the parents and everybody else that, you know, I know at least of 2 of the parents that are involved, and, you know, they're like super energetic about the projects and things like that. So really appreciate when people kind of express themselves that way, that, you know, they're coming in and things are getting done, and appreciate that. Second thing that I had, it was that the music program, there's a great article in the Calexico Chronicle that came out, you know, and we as board members took a look at it, and there's a lot of changes that happen at the elementary level of the music program, but, you know, enrollment has increased on the number of kids that are participating in that program, and we are looking forward to having them do some type of performance on their monthly award, you know, as they progress with the music programs at each one of the schools. So, you know, keep an eye on that, and then we will keep you informed of some of the changes that may continue on that end. Thank you.
Myself, I just want to go ahead and give a shout out to Mr. Hernandez. He had a great safety class for women. I was able to go. I threw a couple of punches. I it was pretty nice. And I also want to, there's going to be another class, right, on the 30th? I'm definitely going. And also, I was able to visit Willie Moreno. You guys have everything so looking great, and I really like the part where you guys have very like not disciplinary, but like everything on point, where you guys send the kids to the gym, and how everything you guys are calling out every little thing that you guys see. I really like it. I also want to go ahead and mention that for Cesar Chavez, Ms. Molina as well, there's a great field trip that I'm not sure if all the elementary schools are doing it, but it's Biztown. I was able to go as a parent, and I was blown away. I love it. There's the students got a lot of it, and myself as a parent working with other students, it was great. Also, I want to mention about the community schools again, Mrs. Limon, thank you. Mrs. Brisa Price, I've heard so many great things, that you're a great grant writer. But also the great thing about this program that I was reading about is that there's going to be more help, and there's going to be a lot of things taken from the plate of the principal, so you guys can focus on other needs that we have. So I think that's awesome. So that's my comment. Thank you, and we're gonna move on. We're gonna go ahead and move discussion number 1, campus security at the elementary schools. There is a couple of comments, or
Yes, Madam President. Mr. Enrique Alvarado asked for this discussion item to be placed on the agenda for today. Mr. Alvarado?
That's correct. It's just from comments that received actually from the community, and during our safety meeting that we had, the emergency meeting that we had. Some of the issues that were brought up was having campus security, or, you know, proctors assigned to the elementary schools and stuff like that. And I think we should take a look at it, or like I said, look at different ways of securing the elementary schools. Like I said, there's other schools throughout the valley that have different setups, and some of them are good, some of them are just, you know, They have kind of like a little house in the front with it's manned, and if the parents showing up, they're usually the ones that buzz them in, but they know exactly who's the one that's coming in. That's where they can keep track of who's in this campus and stuff like that. So that's the reason why I wanted to bring it up for discussion. Like I said, it's just discussion, it's not action, seeing if we could give you some type of direction of where we want to go as a board, but that's the reason why I brought it up.
So it's a comment and a question for me. For regarding the community schools grant, will there be like any like assistance to parents, to the community that can help on that, Mrs. Limon? Not exactly as a campus security, but any like additional help or questions that the parents have?
Go ahead.